This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
Welcome back to another episode of the Icon Podcast. I'm your host, Gianna, and today we're going to be learning all about Bree, even though I just found out she lives on a farm. So I'm going to make her talk about that and so much more. Welcome, Bree.
Hi, thank you.
Of course. Thanks for taking the time to join us. So let's get started. Let's talk about you. Where'd you grow up? How'd you fall into real estate? And where's your current market?
Well, I grew up in Oregon, and I was originally on this career of healthcare administration. I was part of a major hospital project, and that gave me enough experience to say I had enough with healthcare.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah. It was a big project, 286 design teams, and I facilitated a ton of process designs. It was basically start to finish for construction and then beyond. So very long project. And it made me kind of just reassess like what I wanted to do with the rest of my working adult life, and real estate seemed like a really good opportunity, and I've always loved it. So here I am.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good story, and I hope you love it. You're pretty good at it to not love it.
I pretty much love it.
Good. So that being said, how'd you get introduced to EXP? Did you start out there as a brokerage? Did you learn about it? What made you make the switch?
Yeah. Actually, I didn't start out at EXP. I started out at a little boutique brokerage, like a little local one, with my sister. And I just decided that I wanted to explore other brokerages and kind of separate from there. And I had thoughts about going to another brokerage, and then EXP was put in front of me. And I had done some network marketing in the past. And so I understood the model and thought, you know what, this sounds like a really good fit for me. I'm going to try it.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a great idea. And, you saw the model, you can't unsee the model. Once it works, it works. You're not reinventing the wheel, and that this is something that you can get on and scale it however you like. If you want to grow a huge team, you can. If you never want to sell a house in real estate and just recruit, you can. Or if you never want to recruit and just sell houses, you can. Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of flexibility and scalability when it comes to EXP. So what keeps you here? Why do you stay with EXP?
Why I stay is because I'm pretty happy. I'm still pretty happy with the model. And I, like you mentioned, you can pick one or the other, but for me personally, I like to do a little bit of all of it. I like the rev share. I invest in the stock share. I love to I dabble in all of it, really.
Yeah, you touched on that. There's great collaboration. The culture's wonderful. There's revenue shares, stock options. It has everything. You can use that stock option as like a legacy fund for your kiddos and get them rental properties, or, some people use it as the retirement. The options for that are really endless. And it's really cool to see, EXP buying back into their people.
Yeah, I love that. I really do.
Yeah, me too. So tell me a little bit about how you take care of Bree, right? So you have a lot of production, you work a lot, you have a farm. You're a busy gal, right? So how do you avoid running into burnout? How do you, balance that work-life cycle?
Yeah, that was a really hard one for me. And it's taken a couple years for me and I promise I still haven't perfected it. But the first thing was acknowledging that I'm not Superwoman and I do need help. And that I can't continue to produce 4+ contracts a month and manage every single file without a transaction coordinator, without somebody that I can rely on that knows how I do my business and is going to make sure that it's done exactly the way I would do it. And as far as my farm and my family goes, I really try super hard to be like that parent that takes my kid to and from school. I make my schedule work around that. I try not to work on Sundays so that I have family time. And I have a farm assistant, which is amazing. It moonlights as kind of a double assistant in a lot of ways. And so that's how I get things done. It's a lot of running around in my life, put a lot of miles on my car. Yep.
But you put the boundaries out, make sure to take care of the family, yourself. If there's some tasks that maybe you aren't entirely efficient at and somebody else is, delegate them. That's okay.
Yeah. Yep. I have a little bit of a hard time with that because I still do like to control a lot of things, and I'll openly admit that. But it's working, so I'm going to keep doing it until it doesn't.
Good. That's good to hear. So what kind of animals do you have on this farm?
Oh, well, we have a little bit of everything. We have some horses. We have a pet goat, a pet house goat named Sassy. She's so sweet. She came to me when she was like 2 days old and her mama died. And so we raised her, and she's super attached. So she gets to come in during the evening and sleep in her crate. She loves that.
It's hard to see somebody else living your dream, Bree.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
I want a house goat.
They're not exactly what you think. So yes. The crate is necessary. But we have a couple kitties, we have a couple dogs, we got some chickens, and I think that's about as much as we need.
Your life is like a Hallmark movie, Bree. Okay.
Aww.
You know that. Well, that's really cool. And you do it all. You're outdoorsy, you're taking care of animals, you're selling houses, you're putting people in homes. That's great. And obviously you've got high production, right? Because you're an Icon Award winner. So do you want to tell us a little bit in your own words about the Icon Award, how much production you had to do to get there and some of the benefits that it's brought to you?
Oof, it was a lot. I don't really exactly remember my numbers. I just remember going, gosh, I think I've got to be close to Icon. And I think I sent like a bunch of emails going, I'm pretty sure I'm close to Icon. Like, please give me an update. And I think that the numbers were 38, 40 transactions, 45 maybe. Honestly, I'm just on a dead race for another Icon Award right now. It was a lot, definitely the most I've ever done. This is my first year iconing. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And as a solo broker, which in my market is, I think, pretty good. Like I gotta give myself props for that because we have like 3,000 brokers in our market. So,
oh wow.
And not just for the state of Oregon, but just in my main market of Lane County.
Okay. Awesome. Well, congratulations on that first year Iconer. I'm sure we'll hit that again. Got to shoot for the moon. Now, for those who are just new to EXP or they're new real estate agents, should they aspire for the Icon Award? Kind of give them some advice maybe on how to obtain that.
Oh, advice to obtain Icon. Have systems. Have systems. Have a schedule. Keep it pretty tight. And don't veer from that. I can't give you any truer advice than that. If you veer from your schedule, then it's going to be tough, right? So just stick to that schedule and, make sure that every day you're doing things that are getting you closer to those contracts, and build those relationships. I think that's so important for repeat business down the road. Like relationship building is critical. Gosh, I don't know. Outside that, find things to fill the pipeline, and use different sources of resources for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Ask questions. You don't know what you don't know. Pick the brains of your mentors, fellow iconers in the EXP industry. They do want to help you. Everybody wants to see you win. So take what you can, and then down the road when somebody's knocking on your door asking you how you icon, give it back,
Exactly. Yeah. I make sure that I do at least an hour of training for
Mm-hmm.
my own personal knowledge, not even CE training, just an hour of something every week to keep me fresh and up to date.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, because they're uploading 60 hours worth of training a week that's open to you. I think
So
that's just marketing, right?
it's so much. You could be in there all
exciting though, I talked to an icon agent earlier that got to take a $600 course for free thanks to EXP. So use those resources. They're there for a reason. They're there to make you the best of the best, but you have to want to invest yourself into it.
Absolutely.
So then, at some point you were maybe on the outside of EXP looking in, seeing that the grass was greener, wondering to yourself, like, is this a scam? What's so good about this place? Quit trying to recruit me. So what would you have to say to somebody, that has that skepticism right now?
Oh, I would say it would be just completely irresponsible of you to not take the time to learn about this model. If you plan to be in real estate for at least 5 more years, like, you would just be irresponsible to not pay attention to this.
Absolutely. Now, Bree, like, you have to feed back to the culture at EXP, right? So as a first-year icon, maybe you're not so familiar with speaking at events or coaching or whatever else they want. So how are you navigating that? Like, what's your plan? What's the game plan?
Yeah, so I'm giving back by mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a handful of mentees in my area that I've been mentoring. I'm a first timer mentor, and so I hope that I'm doing a good job. I think I'm doing a good job, but that's how I'm giving back right now.
I can imagine you're probably doing a great job, Bree. Sounds like you're busy all over the place, but you keep that structure, and that structure is obviously what's crucial and probably half the battle to getting an icon,
It's critical. I would say, like, getting to icon without structure is not likely.
I guess, like, first and last, like, finishing up notes, what are some tips on structuring for somebody that's maybe like, they're like, I feel like I'm organized, but I also feel like I'm not getting anything done by the end of the day. Kind of throw a few of your tips out on that.
Yeah. I would say number one, like, set your business hours, right? Like, what your hours are, when you can start, when you should end. And number two, avoid time sucks. Like, avoid Facebook, avoid Twitter, avoid any of those. Unless you're actively posting an ad or something, do not spend any of your working hours in that. That is the biggest time suck. You could be like looking at Facebook and all of a sudden now you're watching a video and it's 3 hours later and it's time to go, do something else. And it's just, it's like, avoid those at all costs. A lot, it's hard. I think it's hard even for me because we have our phones and we need our phones for what we do, but we also have access to all these other apps and things that are just really not what we should be doing. Also, don't fear the phone. Don't fear making calls. For me, I do not end my day until I have completed a minimum of 20 calls. And of those 20, 15 of them are new leads. So
that's a pretty high conversion rate right there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, those are my musts. So in a perfect world, our day wouldn't get derailed, but sometimes it does. Sometimes we have something urgent that comes up and we have to shift our focus to that. But I don't end my day until that happens. So if I'm making calls after 6 o'clock, I'm making calls after 6 o'clock. Yeah. The other thing is that I make sure that when I meet prospective buyers, sellers, I'm invoking law of reciprocity, right? Like, I'm providing them with something of value. I never use representation agreements, but I feel like that's because I really make sure that I'm providing something that's of value to them. And I've not really had too many issues with anybody deciding to go anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. You know, you're providing the whole service, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not buying a house, you're buying a home.
It's full service. Most all my clients end up being friends later. It is the most important thing, most emotional thing that they're probably ever going to go through, and you're there to hold their hand through it. So take it very seriously and make sure that you're providing to them what they need. And everybody's personalities are very, very different. So if you haven't learned about the DISC, you should.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything else that you would like to touch on, Bree? I mean, I finished up my questions and then I had to pick your brain a little more, but I'm out of them. But if you want to talk on something else, I am happy to hear about it.
Yeah. I just say, you know what, like if you don't achieve it this year, try just as hard next year, add a little bit extra, just keep trying. I remember the year before last, I tried really, really hard. COVID kind of wiped me out. I lost like 6 clients because of COVID. That really kind of put a dent in me getting to Icon. But I didn't let it deter me. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it next year. And I just kept shooting for the next year. But make sure that the next year is not being derailed by your daily activities.
Absolutely. You got to have that self-discipline, and it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to catch yourself because maybe you start watching a video on, I don't even know, help a client find a house to flip it, you're bettering yourself. And then all of a sudden you're watching kittens play with yarn.
Oh my gosh. When I first came to EXP, I made this transition like right at a time where I knew I was going to have some downtime. I had to have shoulder surgery and I knew I was going to have a couple of weeks, ended up being 3 months of downtime where I really couldn't drive safely and I really couldn't do those things with my arm. And so I had just kind of planned that out really well. And I spent those 3 months, and it probably wouldn't have necessarily needed to have been 3 months, but I spent 3 months absorbing all of the free training that was in the cloud. I just couldn't get enough. And I was like, wow, I never knew any of this. At my old brokerage, I didn't even know about referrals. So I spent 3 months, solid 3 months, just absorbing everything that I could. And I'd say, you know what, if you're feeling stuck, you should just reach out to your mentor, reach out to your sponsor. If you are struggling with that, reach out to somebody in your state group that you admire and ask for a little bit of guidance. Everybody is super willing to help here.
And you're absolutely right. That's the cool thing about it. And that's if you're an EXP or not, I'm like everybody, it fears that other realtors want to keep their secrets to their chests. And that's true. But you're at EXP, everybody's excited to share that information with you. We have a model. It works. They didn't invent the wheel. They just roll with it. And it's what makes EXP so great and so efficient. And it works. It really does. Yeah. And like she said, you're robbing yourself, basically. if you're not considering coming over, taking a look at the model. I mean, there's money to be made over here. There's relationships to be made over here. And everybody's regret is that they didn't come over sooner.
Exactly. I mean, I completely regret it. I would have loved to have come to EXP as a new broker. Wow. I'm not going to say that I didn't learn some very valuable things at my old brokerage, but I think that I would have learned those things also at EXP. Right. And I have no plans of going anywhere. I absolutely love the model. As a matter of fact, I just started my own team. I'm super excited about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We don't have any production numbers yet, but I have 3 brokers and they cover my Douglas County area, my Lane County area, and my Lynn County area. And so, just knowing that my production has gotten to the point where I can't be in 2 places at once, for showings, and everybody would like to go to showings with me, that I do now have have these other brokers that are very eager to assist and be with us in this team. And I'm super excited about it because I want this team to be the team that they enjoy being on. And if they feel later on that I've inspired them to go out and be solo brokers, I'll still be right behind them, cheering them along the whole way.
Absolutely. You're great, Bree. I'm excited for your team. I'm excited to see your growth. I would love to reconnect with you soon, to kind of see how that's going for you, like how you're structuring, making Icon again, while also, juggling a team and being a mentor and giving back. And that would be a really great follow-up if you're interested in that.
That sounds really good. I would love that.
Awesome. Well, anything else you want to touch on, Bree?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, fabulous. Thank you so much for joining us today. I will plan on reaching out to you when we're coming up on some EXP cons and some fun times, because I know you'll be there, and I'm going to.
Sounds really good. Well, thank you for having me today.
Of course, you earned your way on here, and I'm excited to, just introduce you to the people. It's been great getting to know you. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.